Hiya, everybody, and welcome back to here at Borderlines today. Now, today, what I thought I'd do is basically look into the past. Okay, and the reason I thought I'd do it is basically look into why is the high street disappearing. Okay, and a lot of people are going to say this is due to soaring rents, but what I thought I'd do is first of all look into the past. Okay, so when I was growing up as a child, okay, all them years ago, I grew up in the 80s, basically. Born in 1978, so I grew up in the 80s and 90s. Okay. And I grew up in the city of Southampton, which has been in the tabloids quite a lot recently. Okay. And my nearest high street was in Bitton in Southampton because I grew up in a place called I grew up on a council estate called Thornhill. Okay, that's where I grew up. Okay. And when you look at that city or that town, okay, their high street is about half a mile, maybe a mile long. Say half a mile long. Okay. And you had a whole mixture of different things. So from the top, okay, I'm having to go from memory. You had like a carpet shop. There was a petrol station. There were takeaways. There were pubs. There was an Iceland up there. You're going to have hairdressers. Then you're going to have a DIY shop. You're going to have pet shops. You're going to have vegetable shops. You're going to have fishmongers. Is that fishmonger? You're going to have butchers on there. You're going to have shoe shops on there. You're going to have clothes shops like your Peacocks. You're going to have your super drugs on there. You're going to have estate agents on there. There was no tattoos and nail salons. I've got to admit that. Okay. So virtually any type of shop you can think of was on that high street. Okay. Virtually everything. There was even, right, get this, there was even a Sainsbury's and what was the other one? Was it Safeway? I think it was Safeway. Okay. Because there was Sainsbury's on one side and something on the other. I really, for the life of money, I can't remember what it was. So when you look at it, that high street had absolutely everything. Anything you could ever want, okay, it had it there. Okay, literally everything, and it still had a few charity shops as well, just to boot. Okay. Now, obviously, I don't live in Southampton anymore. I live in Leon Solent, which like I've said in videos before, it's between Portsmouth and Southampton. It's a seaside town. Okay, but my nearest proper high street is Gospel. Okay. Now, if I look at that high street now and think about it, it's a ghost town. It literally is. It is a ghost town. And I know the local council, or even the previous councillor, say, oh, yeah, but we brought in loads of shops. We've got about 50 shops. And they are correct with that. They're correct with that. Because one day, earlier on this year, I actually walked up and down the high street, both sides of the high street, and I counted every shop. And when I say shop, I mean a proper shop that you can walk into, okay, and I added them up. And they were up around the 50 to 60 shop figure. But this is the problem when you look at the high street now. It is full of cafes, nail salons, tattoos. They've even had another tattooist. Good tattooist. I've had my most recent tattoo done in there, and they're pretty decent people in there, so I can't knock them or anything. That's what it's full of. Okay. Have you got any supermarkets really going in there? Have you got any clothes shops? On that high street, if I want to buy clothes for myself, say for instance, I've got a meeting. I need to get myself a new suit. There is nothing on that high street. There's nowhere on that high street I can go and get it. I need a new pair of shoes. Nowhere on that high street I can go and get a pair. There's no butchers. There's no fishmongers. There's no greengrocers on that entire high street. And you're talking about a half a mile stretch of tarmac or concrete. There's nowhere on that high street to get any of that type of stuff. Don't get me wrong, there's plenty of tattooists and nail salons and charity shops. They've done well getting all of that in. But the things that people actually need and require, none of them are there. So the two questions are these. Well, it's actually one real question. Is why has that happened? What is the fundamental reason for all of that happening? And there's a few reasons. When I actually look at it and I think about it, you can actually come up with a few reasons for why that's happened. One would be virtually everybody, when they're going to do their shopping, the days have gone when, say for instance, on a Saturday, my mum would get us all up and say, right, we're going downtown, we're going shopping. And she'd get us all dressed, march us out the door, down to the bus stop. Okay, me and my sister in our coats and everything. My brother put in the pushchair. March down to the bus stop, onto the bus, and down to Britain or down to Southampton City Centre. Those days are gone of parents doing that. It doesn't happen. Not really. Not anymore. As a general rule, they'll be on their phone or maybe on their laptop computer, and they'll be doing their order on the app for whether it's Asda, Tesco's, Sainsbury's, Waitrose, Iceland, whatever, whoever you tend to do your shopping with. That's what people are going to be doing. And say for instance, they want the shopping in at 9 o'clock tonight, and if there's a space, job done. They don't have to worry about dragging the kids all the way downtown, having them moaning, Mummy, can I have that pack of sweets? I say that, I have 5 kids. I know what it's like. I take them to the shop, they're going to be moaning for something. I want this, I want that. Life's unfair. You show favouritism for little Tommy, or Billy, or Bobby, or whatever. That's what happens. We all know it happens. So that's reason number one, it doesn't happen. Parents don't want the bloody aggro. Reason number two, most shops aren't owned by the council. Okay. They're owned by private companies. And they put the rents up so much, as a general rule, you can still get good deals. Companies can still get good deals if they want to go and take out a shop on a high street or something. Can be done. But as a general rule, rents have been put up so high, I think, what's the point? I'd rather, arguably, from an argumentative point of view, just go on the market. I'm going to get more bang for my buck at the end of the day. And even the market's dying to a degree. I know people that work in the home improvement sector, and they just go on the market nowadays. They don't waste their time going knocking doors all day. I've got a very good friend, and he makes a lot of money just standing on a market all day, waiting for people to go past and hope that they need, for instance, a double glazing or conservatory or something along them lines done. Okay. And the last reason, and this is fundamentally the last reason, and this is the reason that really gets up my nose. Okay, we live in a digital economy. Whether people like that or not, it's irrelevant. Okay. And 9 times out of 10, I blame women for this. I'm sorry, you can call me sexist, you can call me chauvinistic, whatever. I can live with it. Okay. My wife and my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law are as guilty as sin for this. And I could probably find lots of other women. And it's called Temu, Shen, Amazon, all of these. Okay. They're not going downtown to help the local traders or going down to the local market to see if there's anything that they need that they actually require. They're going on to these platforms, one, because they're going to be able to get it cheaper. Two, they're going to have it delivered to their house. And three, because they can't be asked to. They'd rather go around to each other's house. I'm getting so much trouble for this. Drinking tea and nattering and gossiping and doing all this type of rubbish. But us men moan about women on a daily basis. Okay. They would rather do that than support the local trader. They would rather support some supplier in Timbuktu or in China or something, okay, where they're probably going to get some cheap piece of rubbish that ain't going to last 5 minutes, than supporting a trader in the UK. But that's where we are because of the economy we've got at the moment. So when we look at why is the high street disappearing, that is exactly it. That is the reason. People are more concerned with supporting Shen, Amazon, and Temu. The days have gone where parents on a Saturday would go downtown with the kids to go and do the shopping. Those days are long gone. You know, you go and look at, you could easily go and look at how many parents are with their kids nowadays on a local high street compared to what it would have been. Let's say, for instance, 20 years ago. Vast amount of difference. And then go and take a look. Go and take a look on your high street. Go and look what type of shops you've got nowadays. The options are vastly different. But the reason for that is, one, them shops know they're not going to get the trade because I've already told you parents aren't going, so they know that they're going to get their business online. So why would they want to be in a shop on a high street paying money and losing money? So that's the reason from my point of view. If you disagree with me, let us know in the comments down below. Obviously, if you're new to the channel as well, please do subscribe. I would appreciate it. But for now, thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you all again a bit later.